The door creaked open like a gunshot in the dead of night, and before I could even register the chill slicing through the humid Seattle air, a shadow slipped inside. My shadow, or so it felt. Austin's breath hitched, ragged and desperate, as he dropped to his knees beside my bed, his fingers trembling against my bare shoulder, igniting a fire I never knew was smoldering. "Dylan," he whispered, voice cracking like thunder over Puget Sound. "I can't pretend anymore. I need you to see me." I bolted upright, heart slamming against my ribs like a freight train derailing, the sheets tangling around my waist as the room spun into focus. Austin, my stepson, for Christ's sake, the kid I'd raised through awkward teen years and his mom's endless drama, was there, eyes wild and red-rimmed, blonde hair plastered to his forehead from the downpour outside. A teen now, all lean muscle and that boyish jawline sharpening into something dangerously adult, but still carrying the ghost of the scrawny 12-year-old who'd called me Dad on his first day in our cramped Capitol Hill apartment. The rain hammered the window like it was trying to break in, mirroring the storm ripping through my chest. What the hell was this? A nightmare? A confession? Or the end of the fragile life we'd patched together after Sarah walked out? "Jesus! Austin!" I rasped, my voice gravel from sleep and something deeper, something I'd buried under layers of denial and dad mode autopilot. My hand hovered, instinct screaming to pull him close, to shield him from whatever demon had chased him through the storm, but my brain fired warning shots. This wasn't right. He wasn't mine. Not like that. Not ever. Yet, as his gaze locked on mine, raw and pleading, the air thickened with the scent of wet earth and his cologne, something cheap and citrusy from the mall, that twisted my gut into knots. I'd spent 5 years playing the role. Stepdad, provider, the steady hand after Sarah's affair shattered us. But in that suspended heartbeat, with his palm burning against my skin, I saw it, the hunger mirroring my own buried glances, the stolen seconds when I'd catch him shirtless in the hallway and look away too late. He didn't pull back. Instead, he leaned in, forehead pressing to my collarbone, a sob escaping like a dam breaking. "She's gone, Dylan. Mom's really gone this time. And I can't do this without you." Sarah's latest vanishing act, off to some yoga retreat in Bali with her new boyfriend, leaving a voicemail that was all apologies and empty promises, had hit us both like a sucker punch. But this was Austin unraveling, threads of our makeshift family fraying under the weight of unspoken truths. My arms moved on their own, wrapping around his shaking frame, pulling him onto the bed like he was still that kid afraid of thunderstorms. He curled into me, solid and warm, his heartbeat syncing with mine in a rhythm that felt like betrayal and salvation all at once. We stayed like that until the rain eased to a drizzle, his breaths evening out against my neck. I stroked his hair, murmuring nonsense about how we'd get through it, like always bills paid, college apps submitted, the routine that kept the chaos at bay. But when he lifted his head, eyes searching mine in the half-light, the words died on my tongue. "It's not just her leaving," he said, voice low and fierce. "It's you. You've been my everything since day one, and God, Dylan, I think I'm in love with you." The room tilted. My world, built on straight-laced engineering blueprints and Sunday barbecues, cracked wide open. That night marked the fracture. We didn't cross the line. Not fully. He slept in my arms, a platonic anchor in the storm, but the seed was planted. Mornings after, he'd linger over coffee in the kitchen, our eyes catching across the steam, Conversations dipping into territories we both pretended were innocent. Dreams deferred, fears of the future, the loneliness gnawing at us both. Seattle's gray skies mirrored our limbo, endless drizzle fostering secrets that bloomed in the shadows. I was 35, a structural engineer who'd traded Montana ranches for city grids, building bridges that spanned divides I couldn't cross in my own life. Sarah and I met in college, a whirlwind of keg parties and bad decisions, marrying too young because that's what you do when you're 22 and terrified of being alone. Austin came into the picture at 7, wide-eyed and wary after his bio dad's overdose, and I stepped up because someone had to. Love grew slow, like moss on brick, fierce in its quiet way. But when Sarah cheated with her trainer, confessing over takeout Thai like it was a weather report, I didn't fight. I signed the papers, kept the apartment, and held Austin's hand through the fallout. He was my son, blood be damned. Or so I'd told myself. Until that night. Now, every brush of his hand on my arm sent sparks skittering up my spine. We'd always been close, movie marathons on the couch. Him crashing my poker nights with buddies, calling out my terrible dad jokes. But post-confession, it shifted. He'd text me from class at the community college. Dumb memes about engineering fails that made me chuckle in meetings. I'd find him in the living room, sketching architecture dreams on napkins, and sit too close, our knees touching under the coffee table. The air hummed with what-ifs, electric and forbidden. One evening, after a brutal day of site inspections in the relentless November rain, I came home to find him in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, stirring pasta sauce like he owned the place. Figured you'd need fuel. Old man, he grinned, that lopsided smile hitting me like sunlight through clouds. Old man, at 35, with salt starting to fleck my temples. Maybe. But the way he said it, teasing and tender, made my chest ache. We ate on the balcony, city lights twinkling below like fallen stars, the Space Needle a distant glow. Conversation flowed easy, his art prof praising his portfolio, my latest bridge project over the Duwamish. Then, quieter. You ever think about dating again? Mom's out there living her best life. His fork paused, sauce dripping, eyes on the skyline. I shrugged, beer bottle sweating in my grip. Nah. Got enough on my plate with work and you. The word hung heavy, loaded. He met my gaze, something vulnerable flickering there. Me too. It's like, who needs the drama? I've got this. He gestured between us, casual, but his foot nudged mine under the table, deliberate, lingering. Heat flushed my face, and I didn't pull away. That became our dance. Proximity laced with possibility. A hug goodbye that lasted seconds too long. His laundry mixed with mine, his scent on my shirts. I caught myself staring in the shower, wondering what his hands would feel like, hating the man in the mirror for it. He was 18, legal, but the taboo loomed like a specter, society's judgment, the family we'd lost, the power imbalance I'd wielded as his guardian. Yet in quiet moments, scrolling through my phone late at night, I'd stumble on stories, men like me, loving across lines society drew in sand, and feel a pull toward grace, toward truth. Thanksgiving crept up, Sarah's absence a gaping wound. She Skyped from Bali, tanned and glowing, promising holiday cash but no return ticket. Austin hung up mid-call, slamming his phone down. She's full of shit. Always has been. He paced the living room, all kinetic energy, until I stood, blocking his path. Hey, we're okay. You and me against the world, right? I cupped his shoulders, thumbs brushing his neck. He stilled, leaning in until our foreheads touched, breaths mingling. Right, he murmured. Always. That night, the line blurred. We baked pies, disaster, flour everywhere, and laughed until tears came, collapsing onto the couch in a heap. His head on my thigh, my fingers in his hair, the TV droning some rom-com neither watched. The credits rolled, and he shifted, looking up with those ocean blue eyes. Dylan, what if we tried? Just us. My heart thundered. Austin, it's complicated. I'm supposed to protect you. Not. You're not my dad. He cut in, soft but firm. You're the man who saved me. And I want you. All of you. I kissed him then, tentative, tasting salt and cinnamon from the pie. It was fire, soft lips parting, his hand fisting my shirt, pulling me down into the abyss. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, the world narrowing to this couch, this moment. We can't tell anyone, I whispered, guilt and desire warring. Not yet, he nodded, smiling like I'd handed him the stars. Our secret, but secrets in Seattle, with its coffee shop whispers and progressive pride flags fluttering in the wind, have a way of seeping out. And ours? It was a dam waiting to burst. The first weeks after that kiss were a fever dream, stolen in the cracks of our routine. Mornings, he'd bump my hip in the kitchen, a grin flashing as he poured my coffee black, just how I liked. Evenings, we'd cook side by side, his shoulder brushing mine over the stove, sparks jumping like live wires. Felt illicit, exhilarating, like sneaking beers in high school, but with stakes that could topple everything. Austin thrived on it, his sketches turning bolder, colors bleeding across pages like the emotions we'd uncorked. This is us, he'd say, pointing to a swirling abstract of blues and golds. Raw, but beautiful. I'd nod, throat tight, tracing the lines with my finger while he watched. Hungry. We were careful, doors locked, curtains drawn, but the apartment shrank around us, every corner a memory. The couch where we'd first tangled, hands exploring with the urgency of the damned. The shower after a hike in Discovery Park, water cascading as he dropped to his knees, eyes locked on mine in silent vow. I love you, he'd gasp afterward, wrapped in my towel, and I'd pull him close, whispering it back like a prayer. Love. The word fit, heavy and right, erasing the step prefix I'd clung to. But guilt gnawed at the edges. At work, blueprints blurred as I replayed moments. His laugh echoing in the hallway, the way he'd arch under my touch, vulnerable and fierce. My buddy Mark, over beers at the Pike Place dive, clapped my shoulder. You look wrecked, man. Still pining for Sarah? I forced a laugh, muttering about deadlines, but inside, panic clawed. This wasn't just a fling. It was Austin, the kid who'd trusted me with his broken heart. What if I shattered it? What if the world did? Austin sensed it. Those early December nights when I'd stare at the ceiling, rain tapping like accusations. Talk to me, he'd murmur, curling against my side in bed, his warmth a balm. I'd confess in fragments the fear of labels, the whispers of pervert from my conservative Montana roots, the what-ifs of him leaving for art school in New York. He'd listen, fingers tracing my scars from a childhood fall off the barn roof, grounding me. We're not wrong, Dylan, we're real. And that's enough. It almost was. We carved out joy in the mundane, decorating a scraggly Christmas tree with dollar store ornaments, him belting off-key carols while I hung lights. On Christmas Eve, snow dusting the city, a rarity, we bundled up and walked to the market, hands brushing in the crowd, anonymous in the holiday crush. He bought me a leather journal, "For your bridge ideas," engraved inside with "To the man who built me." I gave him paints, vibrant tubes promising worlds beyond our walls. Back home, under the tree's glow, we made love slow and deliberate, body speaking what words couldn't, commitment, in the face of the storm. New Year's brought a shift. Austin's community college semester ended, and he landed a gig interning at a local gallery downtown, rubbing elbows with artists who talked queer theory over craft brews. He came home buzzing, eyes alight. You should have seen it, Dylan, the installations, the stories. It's like they're screaming what we've been whispering. Pride flickered in him, a confidence I'd always admired but now tinged with envy. He was young, unscarred by the world's grind. I was the anchor, steady but sinking under invisible weights. One night, post-shift, he dragged me to a queer open mic at a Capitol Hill bar, all exposed brick and fairy lights. Just to listen, he promised, squeezing my hand under the table. The air hummed with vulnerability, poets spilling heartaches, singers crooning anthems of self-love. A drag queen in glittering heels commanded the stage, her monologue on forbidden crushes hitting too close. He was off limits, a line I swore I'd never cross, but damn if his smile didn't rewrite the rules. Austin's grip tightened, and when our eyes met, tears glistened in his. "That's us," he mouthed, and I nodded, throat burning. For the first time, I glimpsed a world where we fit, not hidden, but held. But reality intruded like a cold front. Sarah called mid-January, voice syrupy over the line. "Miss my boys." Thinking of flying back for Austin's birthday. Her boys. As if she hadn't torched the bridge. Austin's face fell, but he played it cool. "Sure, Mom. Whatever." After hanging up, he paced, fury bubbling. "She acts like nothing happened. Like she didn't leave us to pick up the pieces." I pulled him down, arms a cage. "She doesn't get to define us anymore." We vented into the night, his head on my lap, my hands in his hair, until exhaustion claimed us. But her words lingered, a reminder of the family facade we'd maintained. Austin's birthday loomed, 18+1, a milestone, and with it, the risk of her seeing too much. The party was small, Mark and his wife, a couple from Austin's art class, pizza and cake in our living room. Sarah arrived late, windswept from the airport, hugging Austin like he'd been lost at sea. "My baby," she cooed, then turned to me, air kiss cool. "Dylan, you look good." Keeping busy, her eyes scanned the space, lingering on the paired mugs by the sink, the extra toothbrush in the bathroom, clues she might piece together if she looked hard. Dinner was torture, small talk a minefield. Austin shone, charming her with gallery tales, but I caught his glances my way, loaded with hold on. When she pulled him aside for mom talk, I stepped onto the balcony, city lights blurring through unshed tears. Betrayal stung, not just hers, old wound reopening, but the fear that our fragile bubble would pop under her gaze. She cornered me later, wine glass in hand. "He's different. Happier. You two always were thick as thieves." Suspicion edged her tone, but she waved it off. Anyway, I'm staying a week. Reconnect. Panic spiked. A week of her in our space, sniffing out secrets. That night, after guests left, Austin collapsed beside me, drained. She's clueless, right? I kissed his temple, murmuring assent, but doubt festered. We made love quietly, desperately, as if to seal ourselves against intrusion. But Sarah's presence amplified everything. The stolen touches when she napped, the coded looks over breakfast. She noticed fragments. Austin's new necklace, my gift, my softer edges. You seem lighter, she said one afternoon, eyebrow arched. Seeing someone? Austin choked on his coffee. I played dumb. Work's good, but the seed of exposure took root. Midweek, cracked. We snuck a moment in the kitchen while she showered. His lips on my neck, hands wandering when the bathroom door flew open. Sarah emerged, towel-wrapped, freezing at the sight. Time suspended. Austin jerked back. I stepped away, heart in my throat. What the? She stammered, eyes darting between us. It's nothing, Austin blurted, face ashen. Just messing around. She laughed, sharp and disbelieving. Messing around? With him. The word landed like a slap, him, laced with revulsion. I braced for explosion, but she grabbed her robe, storming to her room. We need to talk. All of us. The confrontation was a battlefield. Living room, wine abandoned, her pacing like a prosecutor. How long? God. Dylan, you're twice his age. He's my son, Austin defended, voice rising. You left us. He's been here. Every day. We love each other. The L word detonated, raw, unfiltered. Sarah recoiled, tears streaming. This is sick. Twisted. I should have seen it. I stood silent at first, then found my voice. It's not what you think. It's real. Messy. Yeah. But honest. She railed societal norms, scandal, therapy suggestions, but beneath, hurt flickered. Abandonment echoed back at her. You stole him from me. No, Austin snapped. You threw us away. She left 2 days early. Ticket changed. A curt text, sort your shit. I'm done. The apartment echoed with her absence, but freedom tasted bittersweet. Austin curled into me that night, sobbing. She hates us. I held him, whispering. She hates the mirror we're holding up. We'll survive. We did, for a while. Spring bloomed, cherry blossoms dusting the streets, our love deepening roots. Austin's art show approached. A big deal, his first solo exhibit at the gallery. I helped hang pieces, pride swelling as strangers oohed over his work, themes of fractured families and reclaimed hearts. Inspired by you, he whispered at the opening. Tux rumpled, champagne flute in hand. We danced in the corner, sway slow, world fading to just us. But betrayal brewed, subtle as Seattle fog. I noticed the texts first, late nights, his phone buzzing, a flush creeping up his neck as he silenced it. Art buddy, he'd say, evasive. Then the late shifts, perfume faint on his collar, not mine. Jealousy gnawed, but I swallowed it. He deserved space, wings to test. Until the night I came home early, rain-slicked, and found him on the couch with him, Jasper, the lanky sculptor from his class. All tattoos and easy smiles, lips locked on Austin's in a kiss that gutted me. The door slammed behind me, Thunderous. They sprang apart. Jasper bolted, mumbling excuses. Austin's face crumpled. Dylan, wait, you promised, I roared, voice breaking. Our secret, remember? Or was that just bullshit? Pain lanced, fresh and vicious, betrayal's blade twisting deep. He reached for me, tears spilling. It was a mistake. Jasper's. He's safe. Out and proud. No hiding. I got scared. Okay. After Mom. The looks at the show. I thought maybe. Maybe what? That I'm not enough. The words poisoned the air. We shattered that night. Yells echoing off walls. Truths hurled like grenades. He confessed the doubts. My closeted caution. The age gap whispers from friends. The fear we'd never go public. I fired back. The risks I'd taken. The love I'd poured in. Only to be sidelined for some pretty boy fling. By dawn, he packed a bag. I need space. To figure this out. The door clicked shut, leaving silence heavier than rain. Alone, I sank to the floor. The journal he gave me mocking from the table, pages blank, bridges unbuilt. The apartment turned tomb after Austin left, echoes mocking every corner. His sketches littered the fridge. Half-empty coffee mugs ghosted his spot at the table. The bed vast and cold without his sprawl. Seattle's relentless gray deepened the void. Days bleeding into nights. Work a numb haze of rebar and rivets. Mark cornered me at the sight. Hard hat tipped back. You look like hell, buddy. Spill. I deflected with a beer invite. But over IPAs at our usual haunt. Poured out, fragments. Sanitized. But enough for his brow to furrow. Step. What? Shit. Dylan. That's heavy. He wasn't judging. Not really. Mark's the type who'd march in pride with a rainbow beard. But concern etched his face. You gotta talk to him. This radio silence? It's killing you both. I nodded, numb, staring at the foam in my glass. Talk? I tried. Texts unread. Calls to voicemail. Jasper's shadow loomed. That kiss replaying like a bad loop. Guilt twisted sharper than betrayal. Had I pushed him away? My hesitation to shout our love from the rooftops. The closet door cracked but not flung wide. Had it choked him? At 35, with a career in conservative contracting circles, coming out felt like dynamiting a load-bearing wall. But Austin, at 19 now, burned with the fire of youth, demanding the world bend. I envied it, mourned it, missed it. Sarah's email arrived a week in. Terse, heard from Austin. Crashing with friends. Get your head straight. No warmth, just warning. I pictured her in some sun-drenched villa, judging from afar, and rage flickered, then faded to ache. She was right. In her cold way, we'd all fractured that night she walked in. I threw myself into work, volunteering for overtime on a bridge rehab over Lake Union. Ironic, spanning waters that mirrored my turmoil. Nights, I'd walk the waterfront, fairy horns mournful in the mist, replaying us, the hook of his confession, the romance in stolen glances, the raw emotion of our fights. Love like ours wasn't tidy. It was rebar twisted, concrete hard. Then, a crack in the silence. A text at 2 a.m. Can't sleep. Miss you. Heart lurching. I replied, miss you more. Come home? Dots danced. Then, scared. Jasper's. Complicated. Complicated. The word stung, but I swallowed pride. We can fix this. Breakfast, He showed at dawn, duffel slung over shoulder, eyes shadowed but softening at the sight of me in boxers and bedhead. We hugged in the doorway, fierce, bone-crushing before words tumbled. Over eggs and burnt toast, he confessed. Jasper was a rebound, a safe harbor in the storm of doubt. He gets the art world, the out and proud life. But it's not you. Never was. Tears tracked his cheeks. I wiped them, thumb lingering. I fucked up, I admitted, voice rough. Hiding us? That was fear, not shame. But I want this us out loud. If you'll have me. His smile broke. Tentative son. Yeah. Let's try. Rebuilding was tentative. Bricks laid slow. We talked boundaries, no more Jaspers, no more silences. I came out to Mark first. Over another round, he bought the next pitcher. Toasting to bridges, built and burned. Austin met my eyes across the table, pride glowing. Small steps, holding hands on walks to the market. His head on my shoulder during movies. No pretense. Spring thawed into summer, and Austin's world expanded, gallery shows stacking. A scholarship offer from RISD flickering on the horizon. New York, he said one evening, skyline glittering below us on the balcony. Big move, excitement laced his voice, but undercurrent pulled, distance, the pull of dreams versus us. I supported it, throat tight, packing lists, airport runs, but nights, he'd cling tighter, lovemaking urgent, as if to etch us into skin. We'll make it work, he'd murmur, but doubt shadowed his eyes. Mine too. Long-distance queer love in 2025, apps and time zones, but the heart's a stubborn engineer, refusing blueprints. Then, betrayal's echo resurfaced, not Austin's, but mine. An old flame from college, Ryan, emailed out of the blue, in Seattle for a conference. Coffee? For old times. Ryan blonde, built, the one who'd cracked my by awakening in dorm showers and late-night confessions. Harmless catch-up, I thought. Told Austin. He nodded, casual. Go. Just be you. The meetup was at a Queen and Cafe. All exposed beams and pour-overs. Ryan looked good, older, sharper. A tech exec now with a husband back in Austin, Texas. Irony. Laughs flowed easy, memories surfacing, fumbling first kisses, the fear of labels. You were always the steady one, he said, eyes warm. Wish I'd fought harder for us. Flattery warmed, a balm on old scars, and when he leaned in, platonic hug turning linger, I didn't pull away fast enough. Guilt hit like whiplash on the drive home, his cologne clinging like accusation. Austin was at his easel when I walked in, brush paused mid-stroke. How was it? Light, but probing. Good. Nostalgic. I kissed his temple, but he stiffened, sniffing subtly. You smell like him. It's nothing. I started, but his eyes flashed, hurt blooming. Nothing? Like Jasper was nothing? The parallel slapped. He dropped the brush, paint splattering like blood. I trusted you. After everything. Austin. Wait. But he stormed out, door slamming, leaving me in the wreckage of my hypocrisy. He didn't come home that night. Crashed at Jasper's. Text curt, need air. Panic clawed. I paced, calling Mark for sanity. Idiot, he grunted. Fix it before it festers. Dawn brought Austin back, face drawn, but listening as I spilled. The hug, the temptation, the immediate regret. You're my everything. Panicked, saw a ghost of what we could have been, but ran back to now. To you, he softened, marginally. We're both messes. But no more ghosts. We forged a pact, therapy, joint sessions with a queer counselor downtown, unpacking baggage in a space safe as our bed. It hurt, peeling layers. My internalized homophobia from rancher roots, his abandonment wounds from Sarah. But in the rawness, we grew stronger, intertwined. Summer peaked with the Pride Parade, a riot of color down 4th Avenue. We marched hand in hand, Austin's sign reading "Love builds bridges," mine blank but heart full. The crowd roared, rainbows everywhere, and for once, I felt seen, not hidden, but held. That night, post-parade beers in the apartment, we celebrated slow, bodies familiar, souls aligned. But conflict loomed larger. RISD acceptance letter arrived glossy. Full ride promise. I have to go, he said, eyes pleading for understanding. For me. For us to build something real. Pride warred with loss. I nodded, masking the ache. Fly, kid. I'll be your ground control. Packing commenced. Boxes stacking like tombstones. Last night, we barely slept. Lovemaking a farewell symphony. Tears salting skin. This isn't goodbye, he whispered at the airport. Dawn light gilding his face. It's see you soon. Kiss lingering. Then he was through security, waving until gone. The empty apartment echoed louder than before, but this time, resolve hardened. I dove into coming out, work email to HR. A quiet talk with the boss who clapped my back. About time. Dylan. Your family here. Dates? No, heart tethered east. Visits planned. Holidays in Providence. Summers back home. Fall leaves turned. And calls bridged the miles. Late nights his voice crackling over FaceTime. Art stories tumbling. Miss your arms, he'd say. And I'd ache. But grow. Then, November storm, his text. Frantic. Mom's here. Unannounced. Freaking out. Sarah in New York? My blood chilled. Call connected. Austin's voice trembled. She flew in, saw my sketches of us. She's raging. Wants intervention. Betrayal's ghost rose. Hers, now weaponized. Hold on, I said, booking the first flight. The plane ride was torment, turbulence mirroring my gut. Landing in Providence. Cab to his cramped dorm off campus. Heart pounding. Door open to chaos. Sarah mid-tirade. Face flushed. Austin backed against the wall. This delusion ends. He's using you. Enough, I boomed, stepping in like a shield. She whirled, shock paling her. Dylan? What the hell? We're talking. All of us. I pulled Austin close, hand firm on his waist, public, defiant. She deflated, sinking to the bed, sobs racking. I lost you both. My fault. We sat, jagged circle, truth spilling. Her guilt, the affair as escape from postpartum blues she'd hidden. Our pain, the abandonment, the love she'd branded wrong. Hours blurred, tears, apologies tentative. I don't get it, she admitted finally, voice small. But if it makes him happy. God, I just want that. Dawn crept, and she left, hug for Austin, nod for me. Take care of him. Door shut, we collapsed, exhausted, entwined. You came, he murmured, wonder in his voice. Always. Kiss sealed it. Storm passed, but scars lingered. Winter gripped Providence like a vice, snow blanketing the campus in hush, but our reunion burned hot against the cold. Austin's dorm became sanctuary, tiny twin bed creaking under us, walls papered with his evolving art. Abstracts of Seattle rain now laced with Rhode Island reds, figures entwined in defiance. Sarah's visit cracked something in her. Texts trickled, cautious. How's school? Love. Mom. No sermons, just olive branches. Austin read them aloud, voice softening. She's trying. I stayed a week, playing hooky from work, exploring cobblestone streets hand in hand, anonymous in the college crowd. Cafes steamed with cider. We bundled against flurries, his laughter echoing off brick as we built snow forts like kids. Nights, we'd cook ramen elevated with scavenged herbs, feeding each other bites between kisses, the world outside fading. This is us, he'd say, gesturing to the mess. Imperfect, but home. My heart swelled, love, refined by distance, sharper now. But back in Seattle, the chasm yawned. Flights became ritual. Monthly treks east. My engineering life a scaffold holding space. Work noticed, promotions dangled, but I turned overtime, prioritizing FaceTime dates where he'd prop his phone on the easel, paint smeared and grinning. Look what I made today, your eyes, but stormier. Chuckle, missing the weight of him, the citrus tang of his skin. Conflict simmered subtle. His world expanding, mine static. Friends at RISD Queer Collective, all vibes artists, pulled him into late-night critiques and gallery crawls. Jasper's here, he mentioned once, casual over video. Visiting. We're cool. Friends now. Cool. The word pricked, old jealousy flaring, but I tamped it. Trust. We'd vowed. Spring thawed, and opportunity knocked. A job transfer offer, remote lead on a Northeast project. Move, I floated during a visit, heartsick over airport goodbyes. His eyes lit. God, yes. Be my roommate. Laughter bubbled, roommate, as if we hadn't shared souls. But uprooting? Seattle roots ran deep, the apartment with its balcony views, Mark's barbecues, the bridges I'd poured sweat into. I hemmed. Citing logistics, he read the fear. Or is it me? Long-term, voice small, doubt creeping. No, I rushed. It's everything. We argued that night. First real fracture since New York. Him accusing stasis. Me defending stability. I built this for you, I snapped. After Sarah, I made it safe. He fired back. Safe or stagnant? I need growth. Dylan, not a museum of what was. Words landed like blows. He slept on the couch, me staring at the ceiling, snowmelt dripping outside. Dawn brought coffee and amends. I'm scared of losing you to this city. These dreams. He pulled me close. Then come build new ones. With me. Decision crystallized slow. Summer's heat wave forcing clarity. I accepted the transfer. Sold the apartment. Bittersweet farewell with Mark toasting to new spans. Boxes shipped east. Flight landed in Providence sweltering. Austin waiting with a sign. Welcome home, bridge builder. We christened the new place. A loft near campus. Exposed beams and endless light. That night, slow and sacred. East Coast life unfolded vibrant. My days in hybrid meetings, his in studio grinds. We hosted queer potlucks where hands linked unthinking, friends toasting our power couple status. Sarah visited once. awkward but earnest, gifting a potted plant with a card, roots and wings. Progress. Yet betrayal's specter stalked. Fall semester ramped. Austin's star rising. A mural commission for the student union. Themes of forbidden love earning campus buzz. Pride swelled. But so did temptations. Admirers orbiting. His Instagram lighting with flirty comments. Fans, he'd shrug, deleting them for me. But one lingered, Theo, a visiting prof from Chicago, all Silver Fox charm and intellectual sparring. They bonded over theory. Group hangs turned duo coffees. I noticed. Late returns. Animated texts. A new scarf, gift from a colleague. Paranoia whispered, Jasper Redux? But I bit back, remembering my Ryan slip. Trust, I chanted, until the gala. His mural unveiling, black tie affair in the art hall. I suited up, proud at his side, but Theo hovered, hand on Austin's back. Laugh too intimate. Post-event, champagne buzzed, pulled him aside. What's with the prof? Tone sharper than intended. He bristled. Jealous? Theo's mentor. That's it. Is it? The accusation hung. Hurt flashed in his eyes. After everything, you doubt me? Home erupted. Yells ricocheting off brick. Old wounds ripped. You moved here for me. Am I worth it? Or just convenient? He hurled. I countered. I'm fighting ghosts you made. Silence crashed. Him grabbing keys. Need air. He returned at midnight. Theo's scarf discarded in the trash. Walked the river. Thought about us from that night in Seattle. You're my anchor, Dylan. But this suspicion, it's poison. Tears mingled as we collapsed. Apologies weaving us tighter. No more doubts, we swore. Therapy resumed. Virtual for me. Unpacking envy as my unresolved coming-out trauma. Winter deepened. Holidays a bomb. We flew to Seattle Mark's Bash. Sarah joining tentative. Her toast slurring slightly. To family, fucked up and found. Laughter eased tensions. Austin sketched her portrait later, capturing vulnerability I'd missed. But high-tide crested spring Theo's offer. Guest lectures in Chicago month-long. Paid. Career boost. Austin's eyes pleaded. It's work, not escape. Gut twisted distance again. After vows of proximity. Go, I said, voice steady. But come back whole. He did. Calls daily. Stories of Windy City chaos. But voice laced with homesick. Miss our bed. Miss you. Return brought reunion fever, airport dash. Kiss devouring. But underglow. Unease. A late night call I overheard. His whisper soft. Theo. Stop. I'm taken. Heart plummeted. Confrontation dawn lit. Kitchen stark. Tell me, I demanded. He crumbled, flirting. Harmless. He pushed. I shut it down. Betrayal. Minor but sharp echo of our patterns. Why? Pain cracked my voice. Fear, he admitted. Of forever. You're it for me. But what if we fade? Age, distance, life, raw, human mirroring my own terrors. We shattered then, not in rage, but grief. Sobbing embrace, truths bared. I can't lose you, I whispered. You're my rewrite, he clung. Then let's write it bold, no half measures. Recommitment forged in fire. Couples retreat upstate. Cabin in the Catskills. Days hiking Adirondack trails. Nights by firelight spilling souls. We emerged scarred but sealed. Vows renewed. Rings simple silver bands, unannounced but ours. Summer hummed content, his career ascending solo exhibit in Boston. Reviews raving, tender ferocity. I beamed from front row, hand in his during Q&A. Life synced. My project wrapping successfully, his thesis proposal greenlit. Yet climax brewed, unbidden. Sarah's call shattered a July afternoon. Cancer. Stage 3. Seattle. World tilted. Flight west immediate. Austin beside. Hand gripping mine white-knuckled. Hospital sterile. Her frail in the bed chemo's toll etching lines. Didn't want to burden, she rasped, but eyes begged forgiveness. We stayed. Tag-teaming vigils. Old hurts dissolving in 4 beeps. Austin read to her. His sketches turned stories. Tales of fractured boys finding home. That's us, she murmured once, hand on his. All of us. Months blurred, treatments, relapses, our love the steady pulse. I commuted. He deferred semester, art poured into journals by her bedside. Betrayal's last gasp. Her confession. Morphine loose. I knew. About you too. From the start. Feared losing him more. Absolution. Bittersweet. She slipped away October Eve. Leaves flaming outside. Us holding her hands. Funeral small, Montana kin glaring. But Mark's eulogy warm. Sarah chased light. Even when it burned. Austin spoke last. Voice steady. She taught me love's messy. And worth it. Grief hollowed. But knit us tighter back east. Scattering ashes over Puget Sound via chartered flight. Vows whispered to wind. We'll carry her forward. Autumn's fire faded to winter's hush. Providence blanketed in first snow. Our loft a cocoon against the chill. Sarah's death lingered like frost. Sharp mornings. Her absence a quiet echo in calls we almost made. Austin channeled it into art. A series unveiled at his thesis show. Canvases vast and visceral. Titled Echoes of the Unsaid. Crowds thronged. Critics murmured, masterful vulnerability. But his dedication plaque read simple. For Mom, who let go so we could hold on. I stood back, chest tight with pride, watching him navigate spotlights. My boy, no longer, but man forged in flames. Grief wove through us subtle. Nights he'd wake gasping, my arms the anchor pulling him back. She saw us. At the end, he'd whisper, tears hot on my skin. Really saw. Healing came slow, therapy unpacking loss. Her letters discovered post-mortem. Tucked in a Bali hotel safe. Apologies scrawled in looping script. Pride for the son she'd almost lost. We read them by firelight. Forgiving in the glow. Life reclaimed rhythm. My project extended, hybrid freedom letting me roam his studio. Blueprints spread amid paint splatters. Our worlds merging. Dates wove ordinary magic. Farmers' market halls turned feasts. Hikes in the Berkshires where he'd sketch wildflowers. Me building cairns as metaphors for us. Stacked stones. Enduring. Love deepened. Romantic in its domesticity. Anniversary marked with takeout tie. Nod to our Seattle start. Rings glinting as we slow dance to vinyl jazz. But humanity's arc bends toward growth. And Austin's called louder. Post-thesis. Offers flooded. Residency in Berlin. Teaching gig in LA. What if? We? He broached one evening. Skyline twinkling beyond our window. Excitement danced in his eyes. But caution tempered mine. Roots replanted. Fragile still. World's big, I said, pulling him close. But so's our story. Pick one, we'll build around it. He chose Berlin 6 months, avant-garde collective promising edges he'd craved. Come for stretches, he pleaded. I nodded, heart full. This was love, not possession, wings granted, tether strong. Packing stirred echoes that first Seattle night, his bag by the door. But now, confidence armored us. Airport farewell was tear-streaked but fierce. 6 months is a sketch, he grinned, kissing deep. Our novel's just starting. Flight watched till vanished. Then home to quiet loft. Resolve my companion. Months unspooled in time zone tango. My visits to Berlin's graffiti-streaked streets. Him crashing my Providence bed between flights. Emails overflowed, his sketches digitized. My bridge photos annotated with hearts. Distance honed desire. Reunions ignited. Bodies relearning in hostel sheets and gallery afterparties. Back stateside. Opportunity mirrored. A firm transfer to Berlin's engineering hub. Sustainable builds aligning my passions. Fate, he texted. Emoji flurry. I laughed. Booking tickets. Uproot again? Hell yes, for him. For us. Europe embraced. Loft in Kreuzberg. Canals reflecting our laughter. Kebabs devoured post-exhibits. Queer scene pulsed vibrant. Clubs thumping with acceptance. Pride a month-long carnival where we marched. Signs linked. Love spans oceans. Friends folded us in, expats swapping stories of transatlantic hearts. Yet drama's whisper persisted, inevitable as rain. Austin's residency peaked with a collab. Theo, relocated to a Berlin uni, co-curating his show. Professional, he assured, but old scars itched. I met Theo, charm intact, but boundaries firm, his partner a tattooed curator joining dinners. No shadows. Trust. Earned. Held. Climax crested unexpectedly. A letter, forwarded from Seattle, Sarah's lawyer. Estate settled. Modest inheritance split. Half to Austin, half funding a foundation in her name. Sarah's light scholarships for single-parent queer youth. Reading it aloud, Austin's voice cracked. She got it, in the end. Tears fell, we donated the bulk. First grant to a Seattle kid like him, art supplies, therapy fund. The act sealed healing, her legacy, our bridge to absolution. Backlash, whispers from Montana kin. A curt email disowning, but we shrugged, fortified. Their loss, Austin said, framing the letter by our bed. Summer waned, residency ending, but we'd extended, my contract renewed, his solo studio blooming. Life layered, travels to Greek Isles, lazy Sundays in Tiergarten reading Proust aloud, his head in my lap. Romance laced mundane, notes in lunch bags, surprise sketches of our future. A house with a studio wing, garden for herbs. One crisp October eve, canal-side walk, he stopped, I serious. Marry me, ring simple, silver band etched with a bridge span. His design. Shock yielded to joy. Yes, gasped, pulling him into the water's edge. Kiss sealing amid joggers' cheers. Wedding small, Kreuzberg registry. Mark flying in as witness. Virtual toasts from RISD pals. Vows raw. You entered my world uninvited, and rebuilt it stronger. Rings exchanged. Kiss under autumn leaves. Humanity's quiet triumph. Years blurred forward. Austin's galleries from Berlin to MoMA. My bridges greening cities. Kids, not blood, but mentored, a foster teen from the foundation. Crashing our couch. Learning to love loud. Sarah's ghost smiled in frames. Proving. That first night replayed in dreams, door creaking, confession spilling. Not end, but Genesis. We changed everything. Taboos toppled, hearts mended, love's span infinite. In a world of fractures, we built whole, dramatic, emotional, romantic, achingly human. And in the quiet, his whisper, worth every storm,